In the last episode, our group finally secured the Elysium stronghold, but not without scars. Dr. Orion's warnings about the puppeteers reach have us on edge, and a cryptic artifact hints at a hidden Aethereian chronicle. I trudge through the dusty tunnels, my boots echoing off the cold stone walls. Elyra walks beside me, her eyes fixed on the path ahead. Dr. Orion brings up the rear, muttering to himself about the ancient technology we've uncovered. We've been searching for weeks, following every lead, every rumor, every hint that might bring us closer to defeating the puppeteer. Our stronghold is secure for now, but I know it's only a matter of time before they strike again. As we round a corner, Archaea falls into step beside me. Her gaze flicks between Elyra and me, her expression guarded. "What's your take on this artifact, Archaea?" I ask, holding out the small crystal. Archaea's eyes narrow, her fingers brushing mine as she takes the crystal. "It looks like a map key," she says, her voice low, "but I've never seen anything like it." Dr. Orion's eyes light up. "Can I take a look?" Archaea hesitates, then hands over the crystal. Dr. Orion's hands move swiftly, his fingers dancing across the crystal's surface. "This is incredible," he whispers. "It's a cipher, a map, and a warning all in one." Elyra's eyes sparkle with curiosity. "What does it say?" Dr. Orion's expression turns grim. "It says we're not alone. There are others searching for the Chronicle, and they are willing to kill for it." My gut tightens. We need to move now. The air seems to vibrate with tension as we quicken our pace. I can feel it, a growing sense of unease that threatens to consume us all. Suddenly, Archaea stops, her head cocked to one side. "Do you hear that?" I strain my ears, and then I hear it too, the sound of footsteps, echoing through the tunnels. "It's Lyra," Elyra whispers, her voice tight with worry. My heart sinks. "We can't take on Lyra and her crew here, not yet. We need to get out of here now," I say, grabbing Elyra's arm, but it's too late. Lyra emerges from the shadows, a sly smile spreading across her face. Well, she says, her eyes locked on the crystal in Dr. Orion's hand. "Looks like we have something to discuss previously." "Alex, Elyra." And Dr. Orion secured the Elysium stronghold, but not without scars, and Dr. Orion's warnings about the puppeteers' reach left them on edge. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian chronicle, and now Lyra has emerged from the shadows, her eyes fixed on the crystal. As Lyra's gaze pierces through me, I feel a cold sweat trickle down my spine. Elyra's hand tightens around my arm, and I sense Dr. Orion's unease behind me. Archaea's stance is tense, her eyes locked on Lyra's crew who have emerged from the shadows like ghosts. Well, Lyra says, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Looks like we have something to discuss." I take a deep breath, trying to gauge Lyra's intentions. Is she here to negotiate or to take the crystal by force? I glance at Archaea, who gives me a subtle nod. "We're ready for whatever Lyra has planned." "We're not interested in discussing anything with you, Lyra," I say, trying to keep my tone even. Lyra raises an eyebrow, a smirk playing on her lips. "Oh, I think you are. You see, I've been tracking this chronicle for months and am not about to let you get in my way." Dr. Orion steps forward, his eyes flashing with determination. "We can't let you have it, Lyra. The chronicle holds the key to defeating the puppeteer." Lyra's laughter echoes through the tunnels and her crew snickers in unison. "You really think you can defeat the puppeteer? You're just a bunch of rebels playing at being heroes." Elyra's grip on my arm tightens and I sense her anger rising. I place a calming hand on hers, trying to diffuse the situation. "We're not looking for a fight, Lyra," I say, my voice firm but measured. "But we won't back down either. The chronicle is too important." Lyra's smile falters for a moment and I see a glimmer of uncertainty in her eyes. Then her mask slips back into place and she nods to her crew. "I think it's time we showed you what we're capable of," she says, her voice dripping with menace. As Lyra's crew advances, I prepare for battle, my heart racing with anticipation. But I know we can't take on Lyra's crew here, not in these narrow tunnels. We need to find a way to escape, to regroup and come up with a new plan. I glance at Archaea, who gives me a subtle nod. "We have a plan. It's time to put it into action." With a fierce cry, Archaea charges forward, taking down Lyra's crew members with her unique skills. Aethereia and I follow, using our combat training to take down the rest. Dr. Orion hangs back, protecting the crystal and keeping an eye out for any other threats. As we fight, I notice Lyra hesitating, her eyes darting between her crew and us. For a moment, I think I see a glimmer of doubt in her eyes, a hint that she's not as confident as she seems. But then, she spots an opening and takes it, landing a vicious kick on Archaea's stomach. Archaea gasps, stumbling backward, and Lyra makes a grab for the crystal. In that moment, everything slows down. I see Lyra's outstretched hand, Dr. Orion's desperate attempt to protect the crystal, and Aethereia's fierce cry as she launches herself at Lyra. I react on instinct, grabbing Lyra's wrist and twisting it in a direction it wasn't meant to go. Lyra's eyes widen in shock as I disarm her, the crystal clattering to the ground. As the fight dies down, I realize we've gained a small advantage. But Lyra's crew is still out there, and we know they won't give up easily. We need to get out of here, I say, grabbing the crystal and Archaea's arm. Now, as we make our way through the tunnels, I know we're not out of the woods yet. Lyra's crew will regroup, and they'll come after us with a vengeance. But for now, we've bought ourselves some time. The question is, what will we do with it? Previously, Alex, Aethereia, and Dr. Orion secured the Elysium stronghold, but not without scars, and Dr. Orion's warnings about the Puppeteer's reach left them on edge. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian Chronicle, and now Lyra has emerged from the shadows, her eyes fixed on the crystal. As we emerge from the tunnels, the bright sunlight is a welcome respite from the darkness. I glance around, taking in the familiar sights of Elysium's ancient ruins. We need to find a safe place to regroup and figure out our next move. Archaea, can you scout ahead and find a secure location? I ask, handing her a small comms device. Archaea nods and takes off, her agility and speed allowing her to navigate the treacherous terrain with ease. I turn to the others, assessing our injuries. Aethereia has a few bruises, but she's already patching up Archaea's wounds. Dr. Orion is examining the crystal, his eyes intense as he studies it. We need to get this chronicle decrypted, he says, not looking up. It's the key to defeating the Puppeteer. I nod, my mind racing. We can't let Lyra get her hands on it, but we also can't afford to underestimate her. She's cunning and ruthless, and I have no doubt she'll stop at nothing to get what she wants. Aethereia, can you work on boosting our security? I ask, glancing around at the ruins. We need to make sure Lyra's crew can't follow us. Aethereia nods, already tapping away on her comms device. I'll set up a perimeter, but we need to move fast. Lyra's crew won't take long to regroup. As we wait for Archaea to return, I take a moment to process the events of the past few hours. Lyra's betrayal stings, but I'm not surprised. In this world, allegiances are fleeting, and only the strongest survive. Archaea returns, her face grim. I found a hidden entrance to an ancient temple, she says. It's heavily fortified and we can regroup there. I nod, feeling a spark of hope. Let's move out. We have work to do. As we make our way to the temple, I notice the change in Archaea's demeanor. She's quieter, more reserved, and I sense a deep sadness within her. I make a mental note to talk to her later to find out what's bothering her. As we enter the temple, I'm struck by its grandeur. The walls are adorned with ancient Aethereian script, and the air is thick with the weight of history. This is it, Dr. Orion says, his eyes shining with excitement. This is where we can unlock the secrets of the Chronicle. But as we begin to decrypt the Chronicle, I realize that we're not alone. Lyra's crew is closing in and we're running out of time. We need to move fast, I say, my heart racing with urgency. We can't let Lyra get her hands on this. Aethereia nods, her eyes locked on the decryption process. I'll get it done, Alex. We just need to hold out a little longer. As the minutes tick by, I know that we're racing against time. Lyra's crew is closing in and we're running out of options. But I also know that we can't give up. We have to keep fighting no matter what. The question is, what will we find in the Chronicle? And will it be enough to give us the upper hand against the Puppeteer? Previously, Alex, Aethereia, and Dr. Orion secured the Elysium stronghold, but not without scars, and Dr. Orion's warnings about the Puppeteer's reach left them on edge. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian Chronicle, and now Lyra has emerged from the shadows, her eyes fixed on the crystal. As we huddle around the decryption console, the air thick with tension, I feel an electric jolt of excitement. The Chronicle is finally within reach, but Lyra's crew is closing in and we're running out of time. Suddenly, the console beeps and Aethereia's eyes light up. "I did it, Alex. The Chronicle is decrypted." Dr. Orion's eyes dart towards the console, his face pale. "What does it say?" he asks, his voice barely above a whisper. Aethereia's fingers fly across the console, scrolling through the ancient text. Her brow furrows, and her eyes narrow. It's a map," she says, her voice trembling. "A map to the heart of Aethereia, the last stronghold of the Aetherean Council." My heart skips a beat. The heart of Aethereia, the fabled citadel where the Aetherean Council once held court. If we can reach it, we might be able to unlock the secrets of the Aetherean technology and finally understand the true extent of the Puppeteer's power. But as I glance around the temple, I realize we're not alone. Lyra's crew has breached the perimeter and they're closing in fast. "We need to move now," I shout, grabbing the decrypted Chronicle and shoving it into my pack. "We can't let Lyra get her hands on this." Archaea springs into action, her agility and speed allowing her to take point as we make a break for the temple's rear exit. Aethereia and Dr. Orion follow close behind, their eyes scanning the horizon for any signs of Lyra's crew. As we burst out of the temple, I'm met with a sight that takes my breath away. A sprawling, ancient city stretches out before us, its towering spires and grand architecture a testament to Aethereia's former glory. But it's not just the city that catches my attention, it's the massive, lumbering machines making their way towards us. The Puppeteer's enforcers, their metal bodies emblazoned with the symbol of the Puppeteer's regime. "They've found us," Archaea growls, her hand on the hilt of her sword. "We need to get moving fast." I nod, my mind racing with strategy. We can't take on the enforcers head-on, not yet. We need to find a way to lose them, to disappear into the city's labyrinthine streets and find a new path to the heart of Aethereia. As we sprint into the city, the machines closing in behind us, I know that our journey has just become a lot more treacherous. But I also know that we can't give up, we have to keep fighting, no matter what. The question is, what secrets will the heart of Aethereia hold, and will we make it out alive to unlock them? Previously, Alex, Aethereia, and Dr. Orion secured the Elysium stronghold, but not without scars, and Dr. Orion's warnings about the Puppeteer's reach left them on edge. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian Chronicle, and now Lyra has emerged from the shadows, her eyes fixed on the crystal. As we weave through the ancient city's narrow alleys, the enforcers hot on our heels, I feel the weight of our mission bearing down on me. We can't afford to get caught. The Chronicle is our only hope of defeating the Puppeteer. Suddenly, Archaea darts to the left, leading us down a narrow stairway that plunges us into darkness. The air is thick with dust, and the sound of scraping concrete echoes through the passage. We're moving through a hidden underground tunnel, one that hopefully will lead us to safety. As we emerge into a dimly lit cavern, I'm struck by the sheer scale of the underground city. Row upon row of abandoned dwellings stretch out before us, their crumbling facades a testament to the city's long-forgotten past. Archaea leads us deeper into the cavern, the silence broken only by the sound of dripping water and the rustling of unknown creatures in the darkness. We move swiftly, our footsteps echoing off the walls as we navigate the treacherous terrain. Finally, we reach a small clearing, and in its center, I see a group of Aethereian warriors, their eyes fixed on us with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Archaea approaches them, her hand extended in a gesture of peace. "I've brought them as promised," she says, her voice low and urgent. "They possess the Chronicle, and they're willing to share its secrets with us." The warriors exchange glances, their faces unreadable. One of them steps forward, a tall, imposing figure with a scar above his left eyebrow. "I am Kale," he says, his voice like granite, "leader of the Aethereian resistance. And you, Alex, are carrying something that could change the course of our war against the Puppeteer." I nod, my grip on the Chronicle tightening. "I'm willing to share its secrets with you, but we need to get out of here. Lyra's crew is closing in, and we can't let them get their hands on this." Kale's gaze narrows. "We have a safe house not far from here. We can take you there, but you need to trust us. Can I have your word on that?" I hesitate, unsure of what to do. But as I glance at Alara and Dr. Orion, I know we have no choice. We need allies, and the Aetherean resistance might be our only hope. "I trust you," I say, my voice firm. Kale nods, a hint of a smile on his lips. "Then let's get moving. We have a long way to go before we can reach the heart of Aethereia." As we follow Kale's warriors through the winding tunnels, I feel a sense of unease. We're taking a risk, putting our faith in strangers. But I also know that we have no other choice. We need to take a stand against the Puppeteer, and the Aetherean resistance might be our only hope. The question is, can we trust Kale and his warriors, or are we walking into a trap? Previously, Alex, Alara, and Dr. Orion fought to secure the Elysium stronghold, only to be warned about the Puppeteer's reach by Dr. Orion, and Lyra's emergence with her eyes fixed on the crystal. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian chronicle, and now they've joined forces with the Aethereian resistance, led by Kale, in a daring bid to outmaneuver their foes. As we navigate the narrow tunnels behind Kale's warriors, the air thick with tension, I can't shake off the feeling that we're walking into a trap. The warriors move with precision, their steps silent on the damp earth, but I sense a hidden agenda behind their actions. Suddenly, the tunnel opens up into a hidden chamber, the walls adorned with ancient Aethereian murals depicting a world in harmony with the planet's primal forces. In the center of the room, a large stone pedestal bears the symbol of the Aethereian Council, and I can feel the weight of history emanating from it. Kale approaches the pedestal, his eyes gleaming with an intensity that makes me uneasy. "This is the heart of Aethereia," he says, his voice low and reverent. "A place where the ancient Aethereians communed with the planet's essence. And it's here that we'll unlock the secrets of the Chronicle." As I extend the Chronicle, Kale's warriors form a circle around us, their eyes fixed on the artifact. Archaea stands beside me, her hand on the hilt of her sword, her gaze darting between the warriors and Kale. The air is heavy with anticipation as Kale begins to examine the Chronicle, his fingers tracing the intricate markings etched into its surface. The silence is palpable, broken only by the sound of Kale's breathing and the soft hum of the Chronicle as it begins to glow. Suddenly, the chamber erupts into chaos. Lyra's crew bursts in, their guns blazing, and the Aethereian warriors leap into action, drawing their swords and shields to defend against the attack. I draw my own sword, Alara and Dr. Orion by my side as we charge into the fray. The battle is intense, the warriors and Lyra's crew clashing in a maelstrom of steel and gunfire. In the chaos, I catch a glimpse of Kale, his eyes fixed on the Chronicle as he fights off Lyra's crew. I realize that he's been playing us all along, using us to get his hands on the Chronicle. Archaea notices my gaze and follows it to Kale. Her eyes narrow and she pushes her way through the battle, her sword flashing in the dim light. The outcome of the battle hangs in the balance as we fight to reclaim the Chronicle and outmaneuver our treacherous allies. But as the dust settles, I know that we've only scratched the surface of the treachery that lies at the heart of the Aethereian resistance. Previously, Alex, Alara, and Dr. Orion secured the Elysium stronghold, but Dr. Orion warned of the Puppeteer's reach, and Lyra emerged, fixated on the crystal. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian chronicle, leading them to join forces with the Aethereian resistance, led by Kale, in a daring bid to outmaneuver their foes. As I emerge from the chaos of the battle, my sword still trembling with adrenaline, met with Archaea's piercing gaze. Her eyes seemed to bore into my very soul, as if searching for something, a glimmer of trust, perhaps, or a spark of determination. "We need to get out of here now," she growls, her voice low and urgent. Kale's betrayal was just the tip of the iceberg. Without hesitation, I nod, and together we rally our scattered allies, Aethereia and Dr. Orion fighting to hold off Lyra's crew as we make our way back through the winding tunnels. But as we flee, I can't shake off the feeling that we're being herded towards some unknown fate, that the Aethereian resistance and Lyra's crew are mere pawns in a far larger game. As we burst out into the bright, dusty sunlight, I take a moment to glance back at the ancient chamber, now abandoned and still. The symbol of the Aethereian Council seems to sear itself into my mind, a reminder of the secrets we've yet to uncover and the treachery we've yet to face. "We need to regroup," I shout to Aethereia and Dr. Orion as we sprint across the barren wasteland, Lyra's crew hot on our heels. "Find a new safe house and figure out our next move." Dr. Orion nods, his eyes scanning the horizon. "I know a place," he says, his voice tight with urgency. "Follow me." We push on, the sun beating down on us like a relentless drum until we finally stumble upon an ancient crumbling temple, half buried in the shifting sands. The air is heavy with the scent of decay, and the silence is oppressive, but it's here that we'll find refuge and plan our next move. As we enter the temple, I notice Archaea lingering at the edge of our group, her eyes fixed on the horizon. I sense a restlessness in her, a coiled energy waiting to be unleashed. "What's wrong?" I ask, my voice low. Archaea's gaze snaps back to me, her eyes flashing with a hint of defiance. "I know what Kale was after," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "The Chronicle was just a key. He wants the Prism of Elysium, a relic rumored to hold the secrets of the Aethereian Council." I feel a shiver run down my spine as I realize the true extent of our foe's ambitions. The Prism of Elysium, a treasure that could unlock the secrets of the Aethereian Council and potentially change the course of our struggle against the Puppeteer. "We need to find it," I say, my voice firm, "before Kale or Lyra or the Puppeteer gets their hands on it." Archaea's smile is swift and deadly. "I know where to start looking," she says, her hand on the hilt of her sword. "Let's get moving, Alex. We've got a relic to find and a rebellion to ignite previously." Alex, Aethereia, and Dr. Orion secured the Elysium stronghold, but Dr. Orion warned of the Puppeteer's reach and Lyra emerged, fixated on the crystal. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian chronicle, leading them to join forces with the Aethereian resistance, led by Kale, in a daring bid to outmaneuver their foes. As I nod at Archaea's words, a spark of determination ignites within me. We've faced betrayal, treachery, and unimaginable odds, but with the promise of the Prism of Elysium, I sense a glimmer of hope. The silence in the temple is oppressive, but it's here that we'll plan our next move and forge a new path forward. Dr. Orion's eyes scan the horizon, his mind already racing with strategies and tactics. "We need to move quickly," he says, his voice low and urgent. "Kale's betrayal will have alerted the Puppeteer to our presence. We can't afford to linger." Aethereia's gaze meets mine, her eyes burning with a fierce determination. "We'll get the prism," she says, her voice firm. "No matter what it takes." I nod, a plan already forming in my mind. "We'll split into 2 teams," I say, my voice confident. Archaea, you'll lead the search for the prism. Dr. Orion and Aethereia, you'll work on hacking into the Puppeteer's communication networks. We need to disrupt their supply lines and get ahead of their plans. Archaea's smile is swift and deadly. "I'll find the prism," she says, her hand on the hilt of her sword. "Count on it." As we set to work, the temple transforms into a hub of activity, our makeshift base of operations buzzing with energy. Dr. Orion and Aethereia huddle together, their fingers flying across their datapads as they work to crack the Puppeteer's codes. Meanwhile, Archaea sets off into the unknown, her gaze fixed on the horizon as she tracks down the elusive prism. I watch her go, a sense of pride and purpose swelling within me. We're no longer just a ragtag group of rebels. We're a force to be reckoned with, determined to take back our planet from the Puppeteer's suffocating grip. But as the hours tick by and the sun begins to set on the temple, I sense a growing unease. Lyra's crew may be hot on our heels, but I know that the Puppeteer's reach is far more sinister, far more insidious. We may have won small victories, but the war is far from over and the stakes have never been higher. As I stand watch, gazing out into the gathering darkness, I realize that we're not just fighting for Aethereia's freedom, we're fighting for our very lives previously. Alex, Alara, and Dr. Orion secured the Elysium stronghold, but Dr. Orion warned of the Puppeteer's reach, and Lyra emerged, fixated on the crystal. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian Chronicle, leading them to join forces with the Aethereian resistance, led by Kale, in a daring bid to outmaneuver their foes. As I stand watch, gazing out into the gathering darkness, a sudden crackle of energy illuminates the temple's entrance. Archaea emerges from the shadows, her eyes aglow with an otherworldly intensity. "I've found it," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "The prism of Elysium is real, and I've tracked it to an ancient Aethereian temple hidden deep within the crystal caves." The air seems to vibrate with anticipation as Alara and Dr. Orion rush to her side, their faces set with determination. "We need to move now," Alara says, her hand already on the hilt of her dagger. Dr. Orion's eyes narrow, his mind racing with calculations. The crystal caves are treacherous, full of tunnels and caverns. We'll need to be quick and quiet if we're to avoid detection. I nod, a sense of urgency propelling me forward. "Gear up, we leave in 5. We'll need to be sharp and ready for anything." As we set out into the unknown, the temple's shadows seem to writhe and twist around us, as if the very fabric of reality is alive and waiting to strike. We move swiftly, our footsteps echoing off the crystal walls as we delve deeper into the labyrinthine caves. The air grows thick with an electric energy, and I can feel the pulse of the prism calling to me, drawing me closer. Suddenly, the cave begins to shudder and tremble, the ground splitting open to reveal a hidden chamber. In the center of the room, the prism of Elysium pulsates with an intense, blinding light. Lyra stands before it, her eyes fixed on the crystal with an unnerving intensity. "You're too late," she says, her voice dripping with malice. "The Puppeteer's agents are already on their way. You'll never leave this place alive." With a fierce cry, Alara charges forward, her dagger flashing in the dim light. Dr. Orion and Archaea follow close behind, their weapons at the ready. I draw my own sword, a sense of purpose burning within me. We're about to face our greatest challenge yet, but I know that with my friends by my side we can overcome anything. Together, we'll claim the prism of Elysium and forge a new path forward, no matter the cost previously. Alex's group secured the Elysium stronghold, but Dr. Orion warned of the Puppeteer's reach, and Lyra emerged, fixated on the crystal. A cryptic artifact hinted at a hidden Aethereian Chronicle, leading them to join forces with the Aethereian resistance, led by Kale, in a daring bid to outmaneuver their foes. As we clash with Lyra, the air is electric with tension, our blades flashing in the dim light of the hidden chamber. I parry her swift strikes, my sword singing with a newfound confidence. Alara and Dr. Orion work in tandem, taking down Lyra's henchmen with ruthless efficiency. Archaea dances around the perimeter, her ethereal agility allowing her to dodge attacks with ease. In the chaos, Lyra lands a lucky blow, sending me stumbling back. As I regain my footing, I see the prism of Elysium begin to glow with an intense, pulsating light. The chamber starts to shake, the walls threatening to collapse around us. "We need to get out of here now," Dr. Orion yells, grabbing Alara's arm and pulling her toward the exit. Archaea leaps to my side, her eyes locked on Lyra. "We can't let her escape," she growls, her hand flashing with a hidden blade. With a swift motion, I pin Lyra to the ground, my sword pressed against her throat. "Where are the Puppeteer's agents?" I demand, my voice cold and even. Lyra's eyes flicker up to mine, a calculating glint sparking within them. "You'll never stop them," she hisses, a cruel smile spreading across her face. Thayer already inside the stronghold. A cold dread washes over me as the chamber begins to collapse, the prism of Elysium's light intensifying to a blinding fury. We have to move now. With a swift motion, I drag Lyra to her feet and we make a break for the exit, the fate of our stronghold and our lives hanging in the balance previously. Alex's group defeated Lyra, but she revealed the Puppeteer's agents were already inside the stronghold, as the prism of Elysium began to glow with an intense, pulsating light, threatening to collapse the chamber around them. As we burst out of the hidden chamber, the sound of crumbling stone and screeching metal fills the air. We sprint down the winding tunnels, Lyra struggling against my grip, Archaea leading the way as we navigate the labyrinthine passageways. Aethereia and Dr. Orion trail close behind, their breathing heavy, their eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of danger. We finally emerge into the grand atrium of the Elysium stronghold, the towering crystal spires casting an eerie glow in the fading light. But it's not the tranquil haven we left behind. The once peaceful halls are now a battleground, the Puppeteer's agents clashing with our Aethereian warriors in a chaotic melee. Kale, the leader of the Aethereian resistance, stands atop a raised platform, her voice ringing out as she rallies her troops. "Hold the line. We must protect our stronghold." I thrust Lyra forward, her eyes flashing with defiance as I hand her over to Kale's guards. "Interrogate her," I order, my gaze sweeping the chaos before us. "We need to know how many agents are inside and what their plan is." Archaea nods, her eyes locked on the battle unfolding before us. "Ill join the fight," she says, her voice low and deadly. "We can't let them take our home." With a fierce cry, she leaps into the fray, her agility and combat skills sending the Puppeteer's agents flying. I follow close behind, my sword flashing in the dim light as I take down enemy after enemy. As the battle rages on, I catch glimpses of Aethereia and Dr. Orion fighting side by side, their movements a blur of efficiency as they take down foe after foe. But despite our valiant efforts, the Puppeteer's agents seem to be gaining ground, their numbers relentless as they pour into the stronghold. Just as it seems we're about to be overwhelmed, a thunderous crash echoes through the atrium, followed by the sound of rushing wind. The prism of Elysium, still aglow with its pulsing light, has burst free from the hidden chamber, its energy coursing through the stronghold like a living entity. The chamber begins to transform around us, ancient mechanisms clicking into place as the prism's power courses through the stronghold's infrastructure. Walls slide open, revealing hidden compartments and ancient devices that begin to hum with energy. In the heart of the atrium, a massive crystal pedestal rises from the floor, its surface etched with intricate runes that pulse with the prism's power. And upon its peak, the hidden Aethereian Chronicle materializes, its pages glowing with an ethereal light. The battle dies down as both sides pause, awestruck by the ancient relic's appearance. I take a step forward, my heart pounding in my chest, as I realize the Chronicle holds the secrets we need to defeat the Puppeteer and reclaim Aethereia. But Lyra's parting words still echo in my mind. "You'll never stop them. Has she been playing us all along? Is this some kind of trap?" I glance over at Archaea, her eyes locked on the Chronicle, and know I'm not the only one with doubts. As the Chronicle begins to glow brighter, I realize that our greatest challenge has only just begun. We'll need to unravel the secrets of this ancient relic, all while navigating the treacherous web of alliances and rivalries that threaten to tear our fragile coalition apart. The fate of Aethereia hangs in the balance, and I'm not sure if we're ready to face what lies ahead previously. Alex's group had finally discovered the hidden Aethereian Chronicle, but not without Lyra's warning that they would never stop the Puppeteer, and the battle for the stronghold continued to rage on. As we gaze upon the Chronicle, a mix of awe and trepidation washes over us. This ancient relic holds the key to defeating the Puppeteer, but at what cost? I can sense the doubt and uncertainty emanating from my companions, and I know we must tread carefully. "Archaea, can you decipher the Chronicle's secrets?" I ask, my voice low and urgent. Archaea's eyes narrow as she approaches the pedestal. "I'll need time to study it," she responds, her fingers tracing the intricate runes etched into the crystal. I nod, my mind racing with the implications. We can't afford to waste a single moment. Elysium, Dr. Orion, help Archaea decode the Chronicle. We need to know what we're up against. As they begin their work, I turn to Kale, who's watching the chaos unfold around us. We need to secure the stronghold and prepare for the worst. The puppeteer won't stop until they've taken everything from us. Kale's face sets in determination. My warriors will hold the line. We'll make sure the puppeteer's agents don't get another foot inside. With a deep breath, I address the gathered warriors. We've come so far, but this is our greatest challenge yet. We must work together, trust each other, and believe in ourselves. We can do this. The atrium erupts into a flurry of activity as our warriors scramble to fortify the stronghold and prepare for the impending battle. I watch, my heart swelling with pride, as Elysium, Dr. Orion, and Archaea delve into the Chronicle's secrets. Hours tick by, the tension building as we wait for the Chronicle's secrets to be revealed. Finally, Archaea approaches me, her eyes aglow with determination. "We've found it," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "The Chronicle holds the key to defeating the puppeteer, but it comes with a terrible cost. We need to harness the power of the Prism of Elysium, but it will require a sacrifice, one of our own." My heart sinks, the weight of the decision settling upon me. I glance over at Elysium and Dr. Orion, their faces set in determination. "We'll do it," I say, steeling myself for the challenge ahead. "We'll find a way to harness the Prism's power and defeat the puppeteer, no matter the cost." The atrium falls silent, the only sound the gentle hum of the Chronicle's energy. I look out upon the sea of faces, each one a reflection of the bravery and sacrifice that has defined our journey thus far. With a deep breath, I raise my sword, and the warriors of Aethereia follow suit. Together, we march toward our destiny, ready to face whatever lies ahead. The final battle is brutal and intense, our warriors clashing with the puppeteer's agents in a maelstrom of steel and fire. I fight side by side with Elysium and Dr. Orion, our movements a blur of efficiency as we take down foe after foe. As the battle rages on, I notice Archaea standing atop the crystal pedestal, her eyes fixed on the Chronicle. And then, in a flash of insight, I understand. She's the key to harnessing the Prism's power, the only one who can unlock its secrets. With a fierce cry, I fight my way toward her, the Chronicle's energy coursing through the air. As I reach the pedestal, Archaea meets my gaze, her eyes shining with determination. "Together," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. With a shared nod, we raise our hands and the Prism of Elysium erupts in a blinding flash of energy. The Chronicle's secrets course through us, revealing the hidden patterns and ancient knowledge that will allow us to defeat the puppeteer. The battle is far from over, but I know we'll emerge victorious. We've come too far, sacrificed too much, to falter now. With the Chronicle's secrets guiding us, we launch a final assault on the puppeteer's stronghold. The battle is fierce, the outcome far from certain, but I know we'll prevail. In the end, it's not just about defeating the puppeteer, it's about reclaiming our world, our freedom, and our future. And as we stand victorious, the Prism of Elysium shining bright behind us, I know that we've finally found our way home. Epilogue. The rebuilding of Aethereia has begun, our warriors working tirelessly to restore the planet's lost glory. I stand on the heights of the Elysium stronghold, the crystal spires glinting in the sunlight as I gaze out upon the newly freed world. Elysium and Dr. Orion stand beside me, their faces etched with weariness but also hope. We've come a long way, but we know there's still much work to be done. As I look out upon the horizon, I sense the vast expanse of possibilities stretching out before us. The journey has been long and arduous, but it's only just begun. I smile, feeling the weight of our triumph settling upon me. We've reclaimed our world, but more importantly, we've found ourselves. The future is bright, and I know that no matter what challenges lie ahead, we'll face them together as one.